Hey guys, this is going to be a shorter speculation video. I want to say that right now. It's speculation, nothing has been announced, but I think there is some evidence in game that we should definitely touch on that leads to support this, and also why I think narratively now it's a very good time for Gearbox to make this happen. Speculations about what I think could be coming and what I think Gearbox should do, so moving forward, expect a few more of these as midweek videos, in addition to the weekend longer form news videos. So it's an idea that a future DLC of Borderlands 3 would be Gearbox revisiting the Dungeons & Dragons style with Tina in the cast of Vault Hunters. Everyone knows about the amazing DLC for Borderlands 2 that was Tiny Tina's assault on Dragon's Keep. Not only did that DLC include some of the best gear and legendaries from any DLC, it also had the best story that led into a bigger story with the main game, which too many other DLCs really didn't try to do or attempt to do even. So this one, it really tied a bunch of things together, not just gameplay wise, but also narratively, that I think Gearbox should bring back moving forward. And it also included the entire cast of characters in a meaningful way. I'll get into that a little bit later and explain more what I mean. So let's talk about some of the clues there are in the main game that could lead to another Bunkers and Badasses DLC. And also some story beats I would want them to hit on this time around. Before we get into that, make sure to follow my second channel, Fonked, and use code Hayder on Scuff for 5% off your entire purchase. And with that out of the way, let's get right into it. Let's start with the dialogue that can be found in-game of Tina playing Bunkers and Badasses with Mordecai and Brick in Borderlands 3. After you complete some radio tower missions, we can hear Tina thank the listeners for tuning into bunker busting on the EchoCast. Brick says his character is the Siren Brick again. Mordecai this time around is playing as a Necromancer, and his Death Trap companion is played by Claptrap. As they go on their adventure, Zero shows up towards the end and kinda has some good moments. And we hear some audio lines from Torg as well. I'll link someone's video that includes all the dialogue if you are interested. I think there's around 10 minutes that there was in-game that people have pieced together. So it's really cool, really fun to listen to if you haven't found it in-game already. But the EchoCast itself ends without any real resolution, with the characters taking a break after Zero rolls a 1. So they decide, hey, let's take a break, we'll be back. And the only other real mention we get in Borderlands 3 of Bunkers and Badasses is during the credits when they are playing and we see all those ink style images on the side of the screen. We see a style image of Tina, Mordecai, and Brick playing this game. On the cover Tina is using, we can see it's the same art from the Assault on Dragon's Keep cover. We can also see the map of the galaxies on the table, and that's really all there is in terms of mentions in Borderlands 3 itself. So why do I want to see this DLC story-wise? Well, the first Dungeons & Dragons DLC went through the process of Tina dealing with the loss of Roland, who was a big father figure to her, and by the end she was finally able to accept that everyone was still in her life and that she can still be sad but had to move on from Roland and remember him fondly instead of being in denial. And these same themes are even more relevant, I would say, in Borderlands 3. Hammerlock lost Aurelia, Ava lost Maya, and everyone lost Lilith. So it could be another way to go through how multiple different characters are grieving, all given their recent loss of their team while playing this game. Now, Borderlands 3 on the surface is not usually very serious, but I do appreciate when Borderlands does get serious with its stories, because they do the humor already so well. It's such a big juxtaposition between humor and drama that really works together, and I think it shows how dedicated fans are to these characters, especially for these characters that we've now played through multiple games with. Like the loss of Maya, the loss of Lilith, even the loss of Aurelia. She was a playable character at one point, and there are a lot of fans of her out there. And this also ties into my second point, that this style of DLC is perfect to help some of the characters we still don't know too much about or don't like be won over by the community. The Assault on Dragon's Keep DLC really brought out the best in Torg, Tina, Mordecai, Lilith, and Brick. We get to see them banter back and forth. We kind of see each of their personalities and how they all mix together when they're in a group. And I think it shows why we like these characters so much. Which is why if we do get a DLC like this, I hope they bring in some of the new characters and mix it with the old. I want to see Ava, Clay, Wainwright, Ember, along with maybe even Timothy Doppelman, Hammerlock, Marcus, and all the Vault Hunters. It's a perfect opportunity to see when personalities mix, when it really doesn't happen too much in the story, and I think it's just such a good way to learn about these characters. I also mentioned that maybe characters people don't like too much. I think this would be a great way for Gearbox to get the community won over by Ava, to really show that she's more than what she was in the story of Borderlands 3, give her some more humor, give her some more depth about losing Maya, and really tie her together and tell the community why we should be such big fans of her. Also, Clay, Wainwright, all of those, just more people I'm interested about and how they fit into the whole narrative of the game and how they fit with the other characters. I would also say that this new DLC doesn't have to be medieval themed either. I would be so down for an 80s sci-fi style expansion that leans really into the time period with the weapons, bosses, and cosmetics. I think that'd be a really cool way to do it. I know it's being overdone with Stranger Things and Wonder Woman and all these movies coming out and TV shows that kind of have this 80s theme, but I could see Gearbox pulling it off amazing. I can already picture some of the weapons, how they could do some of the bosses that could call back to things in pop culture. Some of the cosmetics have that 80s vibe. I think there's a lot of cool ways Gearbox could go about this and pull it all together and get a lot of different pieces. If you haven't heard already, Gearbox is announcing the new DLC at the end of February. And I will have some more substantial leak videos coming out later on how fans think they have already found out what the new DLC will cover. But I hope before the end of the life cycle of Borderlands 3, we do see another Dungeons & Dragons DLC. I think it really would be huge for the community and bring back one of the fan favorite DLCs from Borderlands 2. Let me know what you guys think down below. That's where I'm going to end this video. Make sure to like and share, subscribe for weekly Borderlands news, and I will see you guys in the next one.